Hello class, it's Professor Cruz here, and I want to welcome you to week 2 of the course. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations on getting through a hectic week 1. I know it wasn't quite what we expected it to be, and we're all getting used to, coming back to campus during this pandemic, and, things were fast-paced and came at you quick, but I think we all got through it pretty well. And now we're ready to kind of settle in a little bit in week 2 and start actual bulk of the coursework. So first thing I want to do is just kind of touch base a little bit about the discussion posts for this past week. For the most part, I think they were really good. Some of you are going to get some feedback that you may not be super happy with, but I don't want you to get disappointed by it. I want you to use this as an opportunity to learn and grow for this week coming up. Unfortunately, there was a number of people who turned in the assignment late. Remember, as it says in the instructions and as we spoke about in class, it has to be in the discussion board and in the Dropbox by 11:59 p.m. Thursday night. If it's after that on either of those, it doesn't count as an on-time submission. For this week, if you were late on the discussion board, I removed half your points. I did this because I wanted to be generous and give you some points and an opportunity to learn and grow and not just crush the grade right out the gate, because in the instructions it does say that I can take all the points if you're late. But I didn't want to do that this week. Kind of gave it a little pass. Going forward next week, though, that will be late submissions will not receive any points. Remember we talked about in class, that's my one thing. I don't do late work, okay? Also, in regard to these discussion posts going forward, as I mentioned in class, I want you to think about keeping these 3 things in mind. You have to hit your word count, you got to answer all the assignment instructions, and you have to stay on topic. Some people drifted from the topic, some people didn't hit their word count, some people missed assignment instructions, and so I deducted accordingly and gave you feedback on how to improve in the next post. And so we have to make sure we're hitting the minimum standards of the post if you expect to get full points. Because for the most part, what I'm looking for is if you do the word count, if you answer the prompt appropriately and you stay on topic, I'm looking to give you the full 40. If not, I have to start taking away from that, okay? In your reply post, to your classmates, I generally gauge those at about like 5 points if you did them and they were constructive. So the bulk of it's going to come from actually what you write and if you get it in on time. Okay, and if you have any questions about that this week, go ahead and ask me. What I want to do real quick is I want to take a minute to explain the assignment that you have coming up this week because as I said, I want to kind of spend class time talking about the theories and discussing them with you. And not waste a lot of time explaining the assignments in class, so I can, do them in the video and you guys can watch that as many times as you need. This video, by the way, obviously you'll find here, it's going to replace the welcome video when I'm done recording it. And I want you to check back there periodically because I'm going to give you updates as needed, okay? So when we go to course content for this week, we're going to be doing week 2. Remember, this is designed to do 1 module each week. When we go to the week 2 modules, Ethic Foundations, obviously, if you've done the readings this week, you should be ready to do chapters 1 and 2 when you come to class this week. And you know that we've talked about the foundations of ethics and the ethical environment. I highly recommend watching these videos that summarize the content. You have another quiz again this week, and you have another Dropbox the same as we did this previous week. What I've done is I've gone ahead and I've got the Dropbox in here. I tweaked the instructions a little bit to reflect some issues people brought to my attention that made a lot of sense. Throughout the course, I asked you to use APA format, but the instructions in the Dropbox as they were kind of went against how the APA title page would be, and they're more of like an MLA standard. I think there's value in knowing how to set up the APA cover page and stuff like that. So I think going forward, we'll do that. We'll incorporate that. And I have an example of what I want, and I'm going to show you guys here in a second. But for this one, we're going to be talking about an ethical issue, okay? And so what this means is, like, as you know from the text and as we're going to talk about this week in class, an ethical issue is just a situation where we have to apply some sort of ethical, thought or decision to something, okay? And so for this assignment, you're going to find an article that was published in the last 6 months that contains an ethical issue. And this article needs to be from a reliable source, so think scholarly or peer-reviewed articles. I'm thinking about the databases in particular are a good place to go for this. If you're in the Monday class, Heather, our librarian, has added some materials into the course that will help you with that. And always feel free to reach out to librarians, either via appointment or ask a librarian. If you're in the Tuesday, Thursday class, Paula Nip has also added links that will help you with these assignments into the course. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to find an article from the databases published in the last 6 months that's dealing with an ethical issue. Now, this is going to be a wide range because I'm not telling you what kind of ethical issue it has to be or what particular field this needs to come from. It's whatever interests you and what you can find, okay? And what you're going to do, and you'll see here, you're going to write a summary or reaction to the piece. And you're going to follow the format below, and I'll show you that in a second. But what I want for this is a summary of 4 to 5 sentences telling me about the main issues of the article that you got. Because remember, I can't read 60 articles in a week to do grading. So you're going to summarize the article, and that way the person reading it will know, and you're going to cite at the end, okay? And then in the second paragraph, see that tells about here, paragraph 1, summarize the article 4 to 5 sentences, provide in-text citation. Do not use any direct quotes. No direct quotes in this assignment, and going forward, we're going to have very limited. There were a lot of issues with people using direct quotations from sources they didn't cite. So it's definitely important for you guys to check your originality reports because it highlights whole sentences and shows me exactly on the internet where I can find those same exact sentences. And those, if they're not cited, those are issues of plagiarism, okay? But this summary should be all in your words, and then you cite it at the end, because at the end of the day, it is a citation. It's a paraphrase. It's your words. It's their ideas. But that's what the expectation is for paragraph 1, okay? Then between paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, you're going to write what the ethical question is about the issue, like an ethical question like, should so-and-so do this, or what should be done about such and such. And then in paragraph 2, you're going to share your reaction to the article, okay? Which means you're going to respond to the ethical issue and talk about what it is, why it's an issue, and what should be done about it. You're going to include a citation on a reference page to the article that you used. If you don't have that, you're going to lose major points because I need to know where I can find that article if I need to see it. Your word count here is a minimum of 250 words, and you're going to include that word count on the paper. You're going to include title page. You're going to have reference page. And you got to remember that your reference page and your headers and your title page don't count to your word count. Some people, as part of their 100 words this past week, used their name and my name and stuff like that. I didn't deduct any points for now, but understand that going forward, those don't count towards your word counts. It has to be the actual body of the text. I prefer Times New Roman 12-point font with the double space. I think it's the cleanest to read, easiest to look at. It's pretty much what most professors prefer. APA does allow for others, but this is the one I would like you to use. Okay? And then remember the Dropbox criteria. It has to be in to the Dropbox by 11:59 Thursday night, and then it has to be to the discussion board. If you'll notice here, the Dropbox grading criteria, this tells you kind of how to get your points. This is an A range, this is a C to B range, and this is the failed range in a sense, okay? And then obviously if you get a 0, it's because you didn't do the assignment, turn it in, whichever, okay? So these are definitely things you want to look at because this will tell you how to get the most points. And then I have a sample of how I want this thing to look that I did up and put in here for you guys. This is a Word file, so you could download it and look at it. But you'll see I have the title of this assignment is the title of your article plus the date it was published. Ethical issues of widget making, that's fake, don't try to look it up. August 12th, 2020, that's the format, bolded. And then we're gonna have your name, Ethics Department, St. Pete College, my name, the class, the date that you're turning it in, and then your word count will be right here on the page, just one time. You don't have to do it between each paragraph like we did last time. The second page, you'll have the title of the article again. You'll have this first page, that's the summary with a citation here at the bottom, as you'll see. Okay, make sure you're doing that. Read through this because this isn't just fluff to make it look like a paragraph. I wrote additional guidance for this assignment in that paragraph. Between the two paragraphs, I want you to bold the ethical question. Should the widget manufacturer pay his employees more money for their labor? Okay. And then in the second paragraph, this is where you're going to give your reaction to it. Read through this and see what it says. But basically, you're going to talk about why this ethical issue is an issue or a problem and what should be done about it, what some possible resolutions are. This entire paragraph here should be all in your words, okay? There shouldn't be any originality, gigs in here because I'm not asking you to use any direct quotes in this whole paper, so your originality report should be extremely low. But in this particular paragraph, I'm not asking for any documentation, any quotes. I'm asking for you to speak on the article. So these should all be your words. Something about the way I look at direct quotes, if you have a combination of 5 or more words in the same order as another source, I'm gonna, typically people consider that a direct quote and that should be cited, but I'm asking you not to cite in this paragraph, right? I want you to give your response. So what happens is if tutor.com highlights one of your seconds and tells me it exists on the internet, that's going to be a problem. That's plagiarism. You're gonna fail the assignment, and we're going to talk about how to move forward from there. So please, guys, what you have to understand is once you've uploaded it into tutor.com, you can't hide from it. It will show me everywhere on the internet that combination of words exists. Keep in mind that taking a sentence and pushing words into it and, to make it look like you've paraphrased, that's patchwork, that's still plagiarism. Because that combination of sentence is still going to be highlighted. Because tutor.com is pretty intuitive. It can tell that you took a sentence and pushed it out and put new words into it. Please do not do that. All I'm asking you to do is respond in your words to the article. I cannot stress that enough, okay? And then finally, on the third page, you're going to have your references, and this is a citation, double-spaced, hanging indent, just like APA format requires on the final page. So it should be a 3-page document, a title page, the body of the paper, and the reference page. Now, this is what's going to go into the Dropbox, this complete document, okay? When you put it on the discussion board, feel free to just copy and paste the body paragraphs. We don't need the title page or the reference. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I would like the reference. We don't need the title page in the discussion board. You can just do the 2 body paragraphs in the citation and put that into your discussion board for your classmates to see. And remember, if you don't put it in the discussion board, you're not going to receive any points because then your classmates can't see and give you feedback. And that's one of the most important parts of this is sharing your thoughts with your classmates and allow them to give you feedback. Okay? Now, with the APA, There was a lot of issues with the APA citations in the first one, and that's fine because a lot of you are kind of new to college, new to this experience, and don't really have a lot of experience with APA formatting, which is why, in the course content, I have added APA resources for you, okay? So these are all my worksheets that I use in the Writing Center and that I give out to people that I've created. And this is a PowerPoint that was created by Bridget Couvert and Paul Verman on the Clearwater campus that tells about all the new 7th edition updates. Since I've given you all this information, there is no excuse for poor documentation in your paper. I will mark off for it because it's very important to get documentation down in your college papers. And I've given you all the information. This will cover probably 99% of what you're looking for. You don't have to go outside the course to find it. Please use this. Please speak with the librarians and writing tutors if you have questions. I will be deducting points for bad documentation. Okay, when you're in the courses, you have writing tutors and librarians embedded in your course, and you'll see those in the course content as well. We have research resources. We have our writing tutor here. This is the Monday class. In the Tuesday class, you have the same thing. You have Paula Nipp is in the class, and this is the Tuesday class. This is Jaron, the writing tutor on your campus, and then this is the resources that we have put in there that Paula Nipp has put in, okay? And in the Monday class, you have the same thing in the same spot, but for Heather, the librarian, and Bridget, the writing tutor. So please use those resources. So to cap up, the assignment, I've talked about it at length here. You can watch this video over and over and you'll know what to do. Tomorrow this week, I guess tomorrow for the Monday group. This week after we cover the content for class, if we have time, we can speak about it. You can also email me. But just to recap, make sure we focus on the feedback that I gave you for this week. Make sure, remember, hit the word count. And in this case, there's actually a sentence count per paragraph. Stick to the topic. Answer all the requirements of the assignment. Document, don't plagiarize, turn it in on time, okay? You also have your quiz. Make sure you do your quiz. If you have anything, you need anything, please reach out to me. And make sure when you respond, you're responding to somebody in the opposite group of you. For the most part, we did well with that. There were some people I had to kind of direct them back to the list. The class lists are updated on the course page of each class. And to reflect people who have added into the class or dropped out, and name preferences and stuff like that. So I look forward to another week of class with you guys. Please reach out if you need any help. Feel free to get started right away. Don't wait till the end of the week to get started. Remember, time kind of burns on you quickly, and you want to make sure you get things turned in on time. So I look forward to seeing you in class, and we're going to have a great week.